Hey, Monique.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Fantastic.
I am so excited. I say this every time, but like it's true. And I think people know in our voices, like I'm legit excited to talk to every guest that we have.
Because our guests are amazing, let's be honest.
They are.
We don't pick bad guests.
Well, they're people we actually know and care about and often get to work with. So in this case, I'm really excited about today's guest because we're going to be talking about one of an entrepreneur's favorite / maybe least favorite topics, marketing.
Yes.
It's so challenging to figure out marketing. And you need somebody in your court for this. And not the noisy, pushy kind of marketing, because none of us we don't actually want to be sold to. So then we have to find out better ways. So we're talking about marketing that's intentional, soulful, and just deeply aligned with your branding.
Yes.
And our guest embodies all of that. So today we're going to be talking with Stephanie Gudowski, founder of Be Engagement, a marketing agency that helps purpose-driven entrepreneurs show up with clarity and confidence. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by content calendars, I have.
What's a content calendar?
Right, yeah. Ad funnels or just being visible. Am I seriously? This is speaking to me completely.
I think it's going to speak to a lot of people, actually.
Yeah, so then today's conversation is going to be so good, and I can't wait to let Stephanie share her magic with our audience.
Let's do this.
Let's go. Welcome to Heart and Soul, the podcast where we empower and inspire women to lead their best lives, harnessing the power of their hearts and souls. We are Mariah
and Monique,
your hosts and guides on this journey of self-discovery and personal growth.
In each episode, we will dive deep into topics that matter most to you, from self-love and confidence to career development, relationships, and everything in between. We believe that every woman has a unique strength and inner wisdom waiting to be unleashed.
Join us as we cover insightful heart and soul-centered topics and interview incredible women who've overcome challenges, chased their dreams, and found their true purpose. Through all of this, you will discover practical tips, strategies, and real-life stories to help you navigate life's twists and turns.
For whatever season of life you're in, this podcast is your safe space to explore, learn, grow, and possibly even laugh and cry with us. So grab your headphones, maybe your favorite drink, and we'll embark on this transformative journey together.
With heart, I'm Mariah.
And with soul, I'm Monique.
Welcome, Stephanie. We're so excited to have you on the Heart and Soul podcast.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, thank you for having me here because I love you too.
Aww.
I am a faithful listener of the podcast. I feel like I knew you before I met you. So it is a true honor to be here. Yeah.
Aww.
And
we're honored to have you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, one of our traditions here on the Heart and Soul podcast is that we share how we've come to know you and how we got to meet you and know that you would be a great guest on our podcast. So I'm going to start with that because I actually was feeling all of the ways that we talked about in the intro, like overwhelmed by marketing. And I have a lot of brands that I market.
Yes.
But it just doesn't necessarily come naturally, and you just don't know how to juggle it all or what's going to have impact. I've spent so much money over the years and not known where the hell it went.
Yeah.
So I was looking for help. I was like, universe, could you please send me an angel on a cloud? And wouldn't you know, I find Stephanie through her own marketing.
She kind of is angel-like.
I know. So through her Instagram, connected with her, had a meeting, and immediately was like, yes, I think you might be my person. And I was in the
will you be my She got down on one knee.
Yes, I proposed.
I think I had to work for those keys a little bit.
It felt effortless. And I was in the middle of launching a new brand, my bridal shop, Josephine's Bridal, and that felt like the perfect place for us to get started. Something where I had all like an open road ahead.
Yeah.
Like help me do this the right way and really get the name out because this is not an existing brand. This is something that nobody's ever heard of. And so the timing couldn't have been better that we met just shortly after I opened. And we've been having so much fun with the wedding dress world ever since. And since then, you know, I've shared Stephanie's talents with so many people and thought, my gosh, she needs to come on the podcast because we need her to tell the world what they need to do. So,
yes.
yeah.
And so many of our clients too just have questions about marketing. Anyways, so I met this little angel over here at a Leap event that we were at. And you just come up to me, you're like all smiley and bright and bubbly. And I'm like, who did I just meet?
And honestly, it's because I listened to the podcast. And so I felt like we were already friends. It is true.
People say that. And I'm like, creepy, but okay.
Yeah.
We can be friends. I love that. Yeah, you're just such a bright, bubbly person. We have not worked together yet, but I can only imagine if you bring this energy to your clients, how wonderful, because you feel warm, you feel juicy, you feel sweet, all of the things. I love it.
Because truly, when you are hiring a professional to help you in your business, you're realizing like, I can't do it all.
Yes.
As an entrepreneur, we do typically start out thinking we can. You want to find someone that you align with.
Yes.
And that you feel confident in being able to have communication with, and because your business is your baby.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And
It
your
sort of
brand is often like you've worked hard, whether it's on the right things, like you have put a lot into it. So you need someone that you can have that relationship with.
Yes.
So Stephanie, we love to also start here by asking our guests to tell us their story. We want to learn about you and share your story, your road to entrepreneurship. So you can go as far back as you want, but share with our listeners, who is Stephanie and Be Engagement?
Okay, perfect. So I actually had my first baby at 40, something unexpected and that I'd never thought I would have. And I had been working full time at the time and kind of cut back to 4 days a week. And then I just started realizing that I was missing all that time as a mom. And when you work so hard or try so hard for something and it comes a reality, you really need to embrace that. And so I loved what I did. I didn't want to lose that, but I also wanted to take those early years to be with my child and be a mom. And I kind of saw a light that I could help more businesses than the business that I was with. I was helping that business at the time. They were a $3.5 million annual business when I started with them. When I ended, they were a $7 million business, and that was 4 years during COVID. And so really, I mean, it was business expansion for sure, but also marketing and kind of bringing that brand to life and unifying the brand in all aspects. So I decided to try it. You know, I had a partner that supported me and a family that was behind me. And so I went for it.
Amazing.
Thank you. And
You took the leap and you're like, well, I'm going to do this, right? It's all about me, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bravo.
Yeah. Yeah. As entrepreneurs yourselves, you guys know that this is not an easy journey. So I would say really the first 2 years, I'm in year 3 of business. I could not ask for better clients. I align with them perfectly. They align with me perfectly. I literally feel like I handpicked them. But a lot of that came from manifestation and doing inner child work. And so really those first couple years of business were incredibly hard and just kind of reworking my offer, right? I always think you can pivot, but you should never give up. So what's that next pivot?
That is so, I mean, that is like, that's it, right? Change is inevitable, but you don't have to look change as black or white. Pivots can be subtle. They can be dramatic, but it's a slight shift can make all the difference. And thinking about your story that you came into entrepreneurship with a lot of really great experience under your belt. And I think that has helped you to be discerning in what you wanted. Like you were clear. It sounds like you were pretty clear.
Very clear.
In what you wanted.
Yep. I also worked for a fashion company, local, billion-dollar brand within the community.
Yep.
And so I was on their sales team, and I learned from literally the best in the business. They taught me great ethic. They helped me understand what I love to do. We're still friends to this day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think it's all about that connection and relationship. And I'm also a sales geek. So everyone's afraid of selling, but I'm like, what can we sell?
I love that. And in marketing, that's really what it is. It's how wisely can we sell this item, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's a whole like psychology and science behind
so true.
it. But you have to not be afraid of it. And I think you have helped me so much in the time that we've spent working together to not be afraid of it. I love to sell, but I think that the hardest thing is always selling yourself.
Oh my gosh, we just talked about this.
Yeah, and so much of being an entrepreneur is selling yourself.
Self-promotion.
And so it's kind of like I can sell a wedding dress, no problem, like that. But then selling my business is like, well, this feels awkward. But I've really, gosh, it's been so great to have your energy just helping to encourage me to get out there and not look at it that way. And that is what people need help with.
Yeah. Well, I can sell you. I think you're wonderful. So.
I know.
We all do. She is wonderful.
Well, I appreciate that. And I think that it is important for an entrepreneur to recognize when they need to get out of their own way and seek somebody who can join their team as in a consulting role and give them some direction, right? Even just
map out a plan.
Start executing. I often would say in my teams, like, we just need to do anything. Can we do anything? And then we'd step back and be like, okay, maybe we should like target this a little bit, but it's hard. So I would love to kind of get into the meat of how you help small businesses, big businesses, with their marketing, because this is where our listeners are going to get some super valuable insights that we have a little session with you here today. So let's just jump into like, what's your advice for somebody who's looking to build a marketing strategy, and let's go.
Perfect. Okay. I think first and foremost, I really love focusing on small, pretty brands, right?
Yes.
That are making a big impact. So Josephine's Bridal, a med spa, any type of clothing brand, right? These are brands that I really excel at helping because I love the way they build confidence for women. We talked earlier about like just how as women we're always taught to step back, to make ourselves small.
Yes.
And as women entrepreneurs, we have to actually do something very different from that. We need to stand up, speak out, and really make ourselves shine.
Yes.
And regardless of what anyone else is saying, right? We need to be in charge of our own story. So I love helping brands be able to do that and helping small brands who think that they have to do everything, right? Because we can be good at anything. We can't be good at everything because we're spread too thin. So being able to come in as that really marketing manager to help them at honestly a much smaller rate than you would having to pay a marketing manager, because as a smaller business, you make great money, but really adding that extra, it's tight for some people. So I love that I get to help more businesses and really businesses across the US at a lower rate, but give them expert help and advice.
Yeah, it's that idea that you don't have to bring on a full-time employee to fill that role, because most small businesses don't have the budget for that.
Yep.
They can afford a fraction of somebody's time.
Yes.
And so if you can find someone, whether it's as an accountant or CFO role, marketing role, you need to be looking for people that are on your team but are fractional. And then you get to play with more pretty things and not just one
yes,
medium.
Yeah. Yep, all sorts of pretty things.
I'm curious how you create a brand or come up with, some sort of a marketing campaign for a company? Do you interview them? Is it a process of looking at what they've done? Let's say somebody wants to do this either by themselves or, hire someone like you. What are some of the steps that they can take to kind of like step outside themselves and be like, how do I even sell and promote myself?
Yeah. So most of the brands that I work with or businesses that I work with already have their brand defined.
Okay.
We just kind of take a deeper dive into that and really I help them look at their messaging in a different way and I keep their brands consistent across platforms. So I think that's really key. So let me just repeat that. Keep your brands consistent across platforms.
Okay.
So everyone has that same experience, right?
Yep.
If your website needs to look like your social media, needs to look like your email campaigns, needs to look like your billboards. I always say that mailers are not dead. So it needs to look like a mailer if you're doing that.
Okay.
Just so people know and have that relationship marketing, right? That's so really just helping them with that. And for me and my clients, just a backstory. When I first started my business, I hired a mentor and a business coach. And she had said to me, your clients aren't your friends. And I was devastated. I thought, oh no, I'm not going to be able to do this because I said previously that when I was working for the fashion company in town, they're my friends.
Yes,
we do dinner still. We text still. When I was working for the aesthetic business in town, my old manager, she is my friend. We do coffee still. And again, text still. And I thought, how am I going to do this if these people can't be my friends? And then I realized, wait a minute, that's for her and her marketing. That's not for me and my marketing. So honestly, my clients, I text them and they text me and I know what they're doing and what their daughters are doing and that they're Swifties and they love Lululemon, and, right? But that's important to me because that also helps me understand their brand more.
And who they are, how to sell them.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, I think we're friends.
I hope we're friends.
I'm pretty sure think she went the other direction on this advice because I'm pretty sure we're friends. And I do think that has helped me immensely. I mean, genuinely, I think we share a lot of loves and common interests. So that makes that easy. But you do have to know inside your small business client's life to know what's going to work for them. Like, are they comfortable in front of the camera? Can they do a photo shoot? Will they shoot your reels and videos for you? Like, what can you get them to do to show up? Like, you need to work your crowd and develop that relationship and that comfort because it is getting in front of a camera. That's a huge part of it, especially on the social media. And you need to have that relationship. And you are excellent at building that.
Oh, thank you.
And I think it's because it comes from your actual heart. Like it is what you wanted in your brand values.
Yes. Yep. It's a huge brand value for me. Yep.
Hi, friends. It's Monique Forcier.
And hi, I'm Mariah McKechnie. We're the voices behind the Heart and Soul podcast. Thanks for listening. We love you guys.
Yes. And we are so excited to invite you to something truly transformative. The Heart and Soul Mastermind. A powerful container designed specifically for heart-led women ready to rise, lead, and live in alignment. Our next mastermind group begins in January of 2026.
Now, the Heart and Soul Mastermind is truly where this podcast got its start.
Yes.
And it's not your average mastermind group. It's a soulful space where strategy meets intuition and where you'll grow your business, your mindset, and your confidence while staying deeply connected to who you are and with us by your side.
And inside, you're going to find a community of women who are unapologetically showing up for their dreams. We'll gather in a monthly in-person meetings with hot seat coaching, curated discussion, on-time tested, and relevant topics. And soulful retreats that are going to feed your spirit and fuel you to success.
So if you're female or female identifying and an entrepreneur or leader, and you're ready to stop playing small and start leading with your heart and soul, this mastermind with Monique and I might just be for you.
So join us, please.
Let's gather and grow together.
Yes. Learn more and apply on our website, heartandsoulmastermind.com. It seems like if you didn't have that sort of like closeness to your clients, it wouldn't be authentic to you.
Exactly.
It wouldn't be your brand.
Mm-hmm.
It would be something you'd be fighting or forcing up against. But it is nice to hear that, because there are some people who maybe don't want that out of their branding person, or do want that. It's nice to know there is a whole gamut of that sort of what you kind of can get what you want, right?
Yeah.
When you're in a high touch service industry like I am, I mean, I'm selling a product,
Like
but I'm
boutique.
selling an experience.
Mhm.
Your brand does need to feel friendly and juicy and lovey,
Reflective of you.
And so
Yeah.
I'm not looking for a marketer who's like black and white, right? This isn't going to match my brand either. And I think that's part of where I immediately connected with you. And I was like, oh, she gets it.
Mhm.
She gets like what this experience needs to look and feel like.
Yeah. I always love to say, celebrate and sell, right?
Yes.
That is what we're truly out to do. And when we can do that in our brand, it makes it feel like we're not selling, right? When we're genuinely passionate about the people we're serving and about what we're selling, we're never selling.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. That's great, because it's easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just easy.
Effortless.
Yeah.
Effortless.
So good. Well, I would love for you to share, like, with our listeners, what's your top like social media tips? Like that is
social
the
media.
like everybody goes,
Yeah, cringe.
but like we need it
Yes, we do.
in some capacity. Or what's your take? What's your hot take on social media?
Yeah. I'm actually launching pretty soon just a quick little do's and don'ts for social media.
Oh, I
So
like this.
depending on when this airs, if that's done, we can link that in the show notes. But
Perfect.
if not, you can follow me at Be Engagement. But anyways, top takes. Number one, and I think a lot of people miss this. If you are on Facebook and not on Instagram, please get on Instagram. And if you are on Instagram and not on Facebook, please get on Facebook. The reason I say this is they both work. They're like siblings that like each other. They work hand in hand.
Yes.
And literally on the back end, everything is synced and so easy to change.
Yeah.
And then when you're doing all your reporting and stuff, you can see it all right in Meta. And so it's right there. And with small businesses, we're spread thin a lot, right?
Yeah.
We don't have the
It's like
big
a bang for your
resources.
buck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can't be on Pinterest, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Lemon, right? Like we need to tuck these in a little bit. And so if you can at least get on Instagram and Facebook where they're related, it's going to save you time.
And it's interesting.
and money.
Yeah, my own. There's a lot of people on Instagram who aren't on Facebook, and vice versa. So you are targeting essentially two different audiences. There is crossover, of course, but there are people who are one and not the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are probably in the generation that's more on a little bit of both. People older than us are really Facebook. And
Yeah,
younger
that's
than
true.
us are really Instagram. But I use them for different things. Like
Same.
what I'm seeking out. And so I remember one of the first things you told me was like, you can cancel this, this, and this because we're going to take it all into Meta and, schedule and all that. And I'm like, what? That sounds like genius. Why didn't I even realize this existed?
Yeah.
But I think Meta is really intimidating. It feels like a very like, oh, I don't want to break. I just want to break something, right? Or like click a box and that you can just take that part and make it easy was a godsend.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's easy. It's
You're right.
easier,
You do it.
right?
Yeah.
And even if it's saving you $40 a month, it's saving you $40 a month, you know?
Cash
so,
is cash.
Yeah. Meta's actually really user-friendly. So if you haven't gotten in there, just try that.
Don't be afraid of Meta.
Don't be afraid.
It.
No.
Another thing that I would just shout out to you, I remember I use Squarespace for all my websites. And I was like, okay, I have a Squarespace website. I built a lot of my website, or at least do a lot of maintenance on it. And Stephanie was like, well, I haven't used it, but I'll figure it out. And I'm like, oh, I love this. She's like, I'm like, she's read everything's figure outable, because that is.
I haven't
Which you
read
haven't?
It. No,
I've
heard her say it.
Yeah.
Mel Robbins, for those who don't know.
Is that Marie Forleo?
Oh, is that who it is?
Outable.
Yes.
So yes. But that's how I operate too, where like, I'm like, okay, let me figure it out. And so it made it really great, because now I don't have to change my tool. You were willing to figure out how to work with me, because I was deeply invested in Squarespace. I've got 6 websites built on it.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not going to migrate, right? So that you could get in there and help me add some of these things and learn that was also just like such a testament to your willingness to work with your clients. And not everybody would have done that. And that would have been a barrier. They said, well, we only work in, I don't know. I don't even know what other options are, but yeah,
Wix.
like Wix. If we only work in Wix, well, this juncture, I just invested to build all these sites. We're not moving.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No.
Your website is tied into that marketing.
Do you have another social media tip for our listeners for small business?
I do. And I think this one is really underutilized in our community as well. But you will see anytime you do this, you're going to get more engagement.
Ooh, I need this.
Yes, you do. Collaborate. It's so simple, so easy. But anytime a brand collaborates on a post, engagement goes up, right? And then you're also saying like, hey, I verbally kind of referred this person, right? So I helped Josephine's Bridal with their social media, and we recently did North Magazine, and we were able to collaborate with North Magazine. We were able to collaborate with Crank and Dasher.
Yes.
And we were able to collaborate with Maria
Julianne, photographer. And you can just see the engagement go up. And so smart people that we love in the community anyways, and we get to tie our brand into theirs. And it's better for everyone. It's aligned.
It is
and
aligned.
when you get that request on your own side of somebody asking to collaborate, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm honored, right? Because when you have aligned brands, it's amplifying everything.
Yep. Yeah. And it's selling the whole community. And right, it's keeping that sort of money where you're located.
Yeah, because it's personal. You're collaborating with other local brands.
Yep.
That's so true.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
We've seen engagement go up in podcasts where we have guests because
we
they're followers, they're listeners. So it's the same sort of thing. It's pooling your resources, right?
Yep.
I think it's been an interesting exercise too in brand or marketing this new brand that I have, in revisiting some of the things that I did years ago when I had newer brands of like print advertising. You just mentioned North Magazine. Like we both aligned on this is a visual product, a magazine, which I do love magazines, and I do think that they're really valuable, that would fit our brand, and went after the opportunity. And Minnesota Bride and some of those things, like it's been interesting to just go back into these traditional methods that, like you said, are not dead.
Yeah. Well, and I think really knowing your audience and who they are, right? Josephine's Bridal is the dreamiest wedding dress shopping experience.
It's amazing.
And it's a beautiful shop when you go inside. It's exclusive. It's luxury. And we say luxury, but still fair priced. But it's giving the brides that we want to attract an experience that they might not find somewhere else. They might not want, not want to be surrounded by other brides and a loud room. I always think that I'm a sensory mom. So like loud rooms aren't a good thing. Josephine's Bridal, it's not a loud room.
Yeah.
So really just knowing your audience, knowing where to market your business and put your marketing, like for another brand, maybe North wouldn't be for them.
Right.
For Josephine's, it's exactly perfect.
Oh, I love it. Well, tools and marketing, we've hit on a couple of that, like Meta platform and, what is your website platform, things like that. Are there any tools that you feel like are underutilized or you'd love for people to think about in their marketing?
Tools, I love Flowdesk for, right? I will say kind of another quick tip about marketing and social media is really don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? So you're on social media, you're in that space. Very quickly you could lose that. And I know you say that and you say, and it might not
It's
happen.
true,
but
though.
it did happen to one of my clients this year who had thousands of followers, thousands and thousands of views every month. But they had an email community. They had a text community. So even though in a second they lost their Instagram, like gone, right? Tears. Wow. It's hard work to build these platforms. We were able to very quickly adjust and to keep engagement with our email audience and with our text audience. And I mean, so their new platform is building back at a super steady pace.
Awesome.
But they never lost the business because they had email, they had text messaging, they had social media. Granted, it had gone, but they also have their employees on social media. So
sure.
Yep. Always a smart
out.
thing to do is to have
other things. Yeah.
Yep.
I have heard horror stories of this as well, and super challenging for people who've lost their accounts for various reasons, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like you feel like you lose a part of your business.
For sure. Yeah.
An archive.
Yeah.
I want to talk about email marketing because I feel like that is one where we're all sitting there with our crowded inboxes with a lot of email in it, but yet it truly is incredibly effective.
Yes.
And again, you've helped me to implement that as a regular expected thing that we're doing. And now I'm like even more excited about the possibility of growing the list and growing that community. And I was telling you guys just before we hopped on, I was up in the middle of the night, fine, because as women, we're awake at 4 a.m. Well, Lululemon just knew that they should email me to let me know that a pair of pants that I once looked at was on sale on their website. And I, when you hit it at the right moment, you click. I'd made that purchase so fast, I hardly remembered it when I woke up. And I just had to chuckle at like how effective that was.
Yeah.
Because when it's a brand you care about and they know enough about you and you begin to tailor that content to your ideal client, it's an easy purchase in your sleep.
You already knew you needed it, or
so
you didn't know you needed it.
I'm picturing a bride out there seeing a Josephine's email and in her sleep booking that appointment and coming on in to find her dress. Like that's how easy it can be when you've built up that community and that list of active subscribers. And so it just had to laugh because I'm like, oh man, I'm one of those people.
I'm doing the thing.
And that's who people are. And so thank you. I'd love for you to share like your perspective on the email marketing.
Yeah. Oh, I love email marketing. I just, there's so many ways you can use it. And really, so Flowdesk is what we use. Another fancy tool I love, right? It's a beautiful email platform.
There aren't any, I don't think there's anything better that is as simple and affordable. I looked, I've spent money on other things and I was so glad we both agreed on that because I was like, yes, Flowdesk, love. Already have it.
Yeah. But they tell you so many stats, right? Like down to how many people this was delivered to, how many people opened it? How many people opened it, how many times, and who opened it, right? And so I'm a data geek, and I get to look at that and be like, oh my goodness, right? And then which emails are performing better? And plus you can resend to unopens. So I really encourage anyone who doesn't use that email all the time to go for that too, because it's going to help your brand. I even say, even if you're not opening the email, right? There's so many emails in our inbox that we just didn't open. It's still that recognition of them seeing your name over and over. Like Josephine's, I'm not there yet, but
when I am there, I'll go looking to see if I haven't deleted one of those emails. Yep. It is really,
it's a powerful tool.
It's a powerful tool. We should not be afraid of. And it is one where having a consultant that can help you to establish that and get it going, like that is one of the things I think, oh my gosh, the social media and the email marketing have been so valuable. I mean, and also because we're friends. So because I got a new friend out of the deal.
Well,
so
I mean,
good.
it just all saves you time.
It does.
Just knowing you don't have to do it yourself.
It just wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
If I had to sit down and figure that all out.
Yeah.
Oh, wouldn't happen.
It's
Talk about the data end of it, because I also think that's a part where it's really important when you are investing in marketing that someone's watching the stats, that somebody is reading, like, are we going up? Are we going down? What worked? What didn't work? Right. I've loved some of the things you've sent me that I didn't even know we could know. Like, it's just wild. So
let's keep some of our secrets secret.
Yeah, but what are some of the things that people, what's your advice on kind of watching your stats and your data?
Well, I think you do need to watch your stats and your data and see what's performing best, right? Like, we know collaborative posts perform better because we're watching those stats, right?
Yeah, right.
We know, like, a graphic post, something that you spent 5 hours in Canva creating, isn't going to perform well because we watch that stat, right? And so I think when we're looking at the data, and you really should, if you have time in your own business to look at that. If you hire someone to help you with your marketing, they should look at that. And really find out those numbers. Find out, what ads are running out there, what posts are performing good, who is looking at your email, who isn't looking at your email, who's unsubscribing, what's that unsubscribe rate look like, and just knowing that's okay. I always say, like, even if you have one person look at your post, it's great, right? Because we would love to sit in an audience with one person and have them listen to our business. I'll do it all day, every day. But to know that 5,000 people looked at something, or it was looked at 5,000 times versus 400, like, what is that? And again, where do you need to pivot your message in your business?
Yeah, if you're seeing your posts consistently, certain posts are getting 5,000 views and others are getting 400. I mean,
yeah. And again, 400 is still great.
It's still good,
because
but
if we were sitting with 400 people,
it would still
we would be super happy.
And who knows if any of those 400 would purchase or not.
Yes.
But you widen the net.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's also really important with your stats too, because where, right?
The clicks.
Where is your business reaching? Is it reaching your community? I talked earlier about the client that lost their Instagram. But when they're gaining it back, right, at a rapid rate, because they had these other resources and tools where they could say, we've lost this, come help. They are gaining an audience that is their community, exactly their community, exactly their ideal client. And they're no longer left with the noise that they had before, because they followed so many like businesses before instead of people in their community.
Oh,
right.
That's
you only
so
follow so many of those, because I I like to tap out at a certain number.
Yeah.
And then, the algorithm is feeding you. And so you need to know, like, if you're an event planning business and you're following all event planning businesses, well, guess what? The algorithm is going to feed you event planning businesses.
Yeah.
You want to follow people in your community, people that are going to buy from you, people that have bought from you, right? Those,
I like that.
that's your family.
That's such a, it's counterintuitive as a business when just as a person, an individual participant on social media, you do follow people that you know, right? But you want to follow brands and things that you like or that you have common interests in. And there, like you said, there's some amount of that is good. And you want to be, building your sphere of influence. But I think that's true. It's more of a hesitation around following your clients or following like humans, but that's the connection.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's where the magic happens.
Oh, that's also good. So as we kind of wrap up the tips and like expertise section of this interview, what do you want to leave our listeners with about bee engagement and what should they know first and foremost?
What should they know? Well, I think that as brands, as small businesses, you don't have to do it alone, right? It's okay to accept help. It's okay to accept external help, right? And if something isn't working, again, do that pivot. And that really is, even if you've hired someone and you thought it would be a good fit and it's not a good fit, do that pivot, right? Yeah. I always say it's a story about a deer. And as humans, we are told to like walk through fear. And if you're afraid at first, don't worry, just, that was just something in your head, right? But if a deer is in the woods and they sense danger, what do?
They go the other way.
Exactly.
They take a different path.
But as humans, if we sense danger, we go toward it.
True.
So trust your gut initially. If your gut is saying, yeah, okay, then do it. But if your gut has any type of hesitation, ask why. Take that pause and ask why. So I think as business owners, we need to focus on that and really just be like, why was that? Because I think there's always a lesson down the line of us. Gosh, I wish I would have trusted that first instinct. So.
Oh, yeah.
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 Think of so many times.
Love the hindsight.
Yeah.
That is something over time. You get so much better at listening to your gut. You drowned out the other noise but yeah, we all make mistakes along the way. I thank you for sharing that. That feels like the most important core here. Like all the tools and all the things, it's like it's a different mix for every business. But that at the core essentially is what's so important is just that you need to trust your gut. You need to know that you don't have to do it alone. And if you are in a current marketing relationship or consulting and you don't feel like it's really reflecting your brand, say something. There are other people out there that might be a better natural fit. Yeah. And when it is working, it truly is easy. And that's the thing that we say in life in general. It's like when you're in the flow, when you're in alignment, it doesn't feel hard. It feels effortless. And that's such a relief.
Yeah. I have one question I'm just curious about, like on social media or just, with your own life. What's something like kind of to help us like know a little bit about that you follow? Is it like, we talked about how awesome your shoes are. Is it something whimsical like that? Like what inspires you as a creative?
I love looking at other brands and what they're doing. Yeah. I'm the person that screenshots ads on Facebook? Like y'all might be scrolling through this girl's screenshotting and she's putting them in her marketing bin.
That's awesome. I love that.
I love billboards. I love seeing how other people are connecting and what they're doing. And I use like other people's reels as inspiration, right? And not necessarily in the same realm. Like you could be in different realms. I always say follow people in different realms because
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like in business, sometimes something they'll do will inspire you and something in retail will inspire you. You know, it just depends. Yeah. I think that that's so true.
Yeah.
Well, it's the perfect segue into our little rapid fire speed round of
rapid
questions for you. And,
dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, exactly. I hope you're ready.
Just whatever comes to mind. What is a brand that you love right now? That's kind of what Monique was saying, but like, what's a brand that you love right now?
Yeah. So someone that gets a brand really great that's actually local, and this not a female entrepreneur, I am super obsessed with Nicolay Law Office.
Oh.
Now, come on. We all know this brand,
yeah.
right?
Even if you're nauseated by it.
They're doing it right.
But here's the thing. He does it right.
Yes.
Think of his audience. Think of his beard. Think of his flannel, right? Yep. He has captured the band. He's done the band thing. He's done the bar thing. These are his clients.
Yes.
He's done the quick trip, right? The quick trip thing.
Yep.
But in his billboards, they're everywhere.
Oh my gosh. It's hard to go anywhere without seeing one.
Here's the
thing.
Like,
I feel like if I met him, I'd be like, oh, I know you. Wait, I don't know you.
Well, just like I knew you.
But you'd call him if you ever need him. You'd be like,
I might not
cross
be.
your mind. But
yeah, exactly.
Right? You're not his girl. But yeah, even the billboards, as someone who's like created billboards, right? I know how much it costs to be on a billboard, and he has so many billboards.
My gosh, yes.
He bought the billboard company.
what?
Smart.
Are you serious?
Smart.
That's
Very
why.
smart.
So smart.
I love it.
That's a
power
how can
move.
you not?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you're going to charge me this much? How about I just buy you?
Let me just
How
buy you.
about I just buy
makes
the
sense.
billboards?
Yeah.
Yes. Got it.
Yes.
Funny, I just asked you, should I get a billboard? I love
And
that
I
we're
was
talking
like,
about
yes,
that.
get a billboard.
Buy the company.
Yes.
Buy the company.
That sounds fun.
Don't be surprised if I say it one day.
Oh, no.
So you should.
I've got a fire lit inside. Oh my gosh. What is your go-to morning drink?
Oh, coffee. And hopefully before my little guy gets up.
I'm glad she didn't say with Bailey's.
For breakfast.
Or maybe
Some
maybe
days.
Saturdays.
This is a fun one that we'll see if you know, or maybe you have a gut feel about it. What's the most used emoji in your marketing?
In mine?
Or for clients, or I suppose it's different for everybody.
The throbbing heart.
I
I love the throbbing heart.
heart.
I will overuse that.
Yeah.
And exclamations. So if you don't love exclamations, we're not a good fit. But if you do,
Oh my gosh.
we're in.
I know someone who was like, why do you send so many exclamations? It's like you're screaming at me all the time. I'm like, wait, what? I'm just super
Like,
excited.
that would be capital letters. The exclamation is my pure joy.
I know, right? I don't know how you can confuse that, but whatever.
I often have to edit my client or business emails to be like, did I use too many exclamations?
Yes,
Because they're my default. Yeah.
Right? AI would tell you yes.
Yes. And then what's a myth about marketing that you would love to bust?
Yeah, you know what? I actually think people, I help with a lot of sales campaigns or event campaigns, and people think that they'll post once about their monthly special or their monthly sale, their feature, and they think that everyone should run to their door. That's not true, right? We need to send text messages. We need to send emails. We need to post multiple times on social media. We need to get it in our stories. It is not a one and done, and marketing really is the long game.
Yes.
When you're investing your dollars in marketing, you need to think, where is this going to get me in a year? Right?
Wow,
It's like
that is a lot.
manifesting,
Yeah,
right? We don't manifest today. I mean, maybe we do. If I manifest $10, it might come to me, and that's fair. It should.
Yeah.
Right.
But
large manifestations can take time.
9 to 12 months.
Right.
Yep.
Marketing, it's going to take time.
Mm-hmm.
It's an investment.
It's
You have
an
to look at that.
investment.
It's not a dollar for dollar in, dollar out exchange. It's an investment
Mm-hmm.
to hopefully come back in spades later.
I like that you shared that with our clients, because I do think we're in such like an immediate gratification culture that it's good to like just like talk about the expectations. Like, we're not doing this, for today, because so many of us like, but I got bills today,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't want to, do something that in a year could cut off that future, right? This is what you're doing, is you're spending for your future, or that makes sense. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Well, and finally, how do you stay inspired?
Oh gosh. I love what I do. That's the thing. Like, I feel like I don't want to say I don't necessarily have to stay inspired, but I have built my business around my timeline, my freedom, my family, my clients. I have the best clients. I said it earlier, but I really have the best clients. They have fantastic businesses. It's easy to love them and support them and be inspired. And as much as other people say like, oh, it's Monday, I got to go to work. I love Monday. Like, so, it's just, I love what I do, and I've built the exact business I want to build. I can't wait to see what happens in a year. I can't wait to see the next steps. But yeah, it's easy to stay inspired. I have a great life.
That's beautiful.
It's your zone of genius. And we have talked with so many of our mastermind group participants. And we reference in the past on this podcast, like, when you're working in your zone of genius, you never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
And you could do what you're doing all day long, every day, and not tire of it. And it's just such a beautiful feeling. And it's what we always want people to aspire to, elevate to. And you're there, like, you've gotten there.
Yeah. It really, it's
working
a lot,
with someone.
universe. It's a lot,
it's the woo-woo, isn't it?
It is the woo-woo.
I know.
It's a hot topic right now. And Monique, I know you know a lot about it, and teach about it. And it really, truly is true.
Yes.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, when you lean into it instead of resist it, you can be in the flow, or you can swim up the stream. I say turn around and go down river.
Just swim, baby, swim. Get in the flow.
Right.
It's the best feeling ever. When you're stuck, nothing's going right. That's no fun. But when you're in the flow, it's easy street.
Yeah.
So, oh my goodness, it's been so fun to talk with you, Stephanie, and just have you share this wisdom, not only about marketing, but about entrepreneurship and life with our audience who's listening. Like, this is just, it was everything I hoped it would be and more.
Aww.
And I hope that anybody listening out there who's in the thick of figuring out their own marketing, who's potentially also an entrepreneur, or maybe looking to make a shift in their career, something like Stephanie faced when she went from being like a mom later in life to going, I don't want to do the same thing that I've been doing. I want to shake this up and do it differently. Like, that's an inspiration. Or you're looking for ways to be more inspired, or know that you could have connection in your marketing, in your business. I think you've just shared so much about that today. So if you are interested in learning more about Stephanie and her business, Be Engagement, go to her website, beengagement.com, or follow her on Instagram at Be Engagement. Her own marketing and branding is, of course, phenomenal. You'll be sucked right in like I was. And we just love for anybody listening, remember to like this episode, subscribe to the podcast, because that,
love that
really helps us know that people are enjoying our content and want to hear more of it. And share the episode with your friends. Like, hit that little button that says share if you feel like this is something someone you know should absolutely listen to. my friends know I'm always sharing podcast episodes with
Yes,
them.
you share a lot.
I'm like,
It's
you should
awesome.
listen to this one. Take it or leave it. But
You're
like,
a marketer
it made me
podcast.
think of you. So yeah, thank you, Stephanie. And until next time.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Oh, thank you for joining us and sharing your wisdom. So many small businesses struggle with exactly what you do, and helping to demystify it a little bit, I think we need to just empower small businesses. Like, you can't all do it all yourself, but there are some tips in here that you could. And I love that you're coming out with this top whatever for social media. I'll be looking out for that. That's awesome. So thank you for sharing your wisdom and being here with us today.
Thank you.
Yes. Until next time, everybody, keep on showing up with your heart and soul.
Yeah.
Cheers, friends. You've just finished another episode of the Heart and Soul podcast. We hope that you've enjoyed the show. And if you've loved it, we would love if you'd leave us a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening. You can find links to leave that review in the show notes, where you'll also find other resources that we reference on our show. And if you think a friend could find value in today's episode or any future episodes, please share this episode with them on social media. This is one of the only ways the podcast can organically grow, and we just can't wait to connect with you and all of your besties. You can also find Monique and I on our many social media platforms or our websites, and we're going to leave links to those in the show notes as well. Thank you for listening. We look forward to sharing our hearts and souls with you again next time. With Heart, I'm Mariah.
And with Soul, I'm Monique.